Hi there and hello, my name is Connor. Kyono doga de wa the Wulongs no Videodrome ni tsuite hanashitemasu. So what we got today is the first and the new and the debut album from the band The Wulongs. Though I believe on their Twitter they call themselves the Oolongs, but there's like the W, so I'm gonna call them the Wulongs, especially because they sing in English. So I'm just gonna go with Wulongs. With that said, the Wulongs are a three-piece band from Japan, and their members are comprised of someone named Rev on guitar, Omaika on the bass, and someone named Sophie on the drums. Now, there is a singer, and I think there's maybe two vocalists in the band, though I don't know who, and it's hard to find anything out about this band because they are so new and have not really made that information very public yet, at least not from what I can find. But I think for the most part, they all speak pretty good English from what I can tell, and because of that, a lot of their lyrics are actually in English. And I also think it's for that reason that a lot of their music actually reminds me of very European pop, new wave, and also glam rock from, I want to say, the 80s and also early 90s. Whenever I listen to this album, I would say that I get some pretty heavy vibes from bands such as Nina, The Bangles, Men at Work, and then also some more contemporary bands such as Always and also Men I Trust. I think the best synopsis that I can come up for this album is probably that it is just very fast-paced rock with a very European twist to it too. Though at its heart, this is a very indie rock sounding album. In fact, they actually interpolated a song called Only Acting by the UK band Quero Quero Bonito, and I called that out on Twitter. And you know what? I was right. I know my stuff, that's my certification. Please like, favorite, and subscribe. I think my main takeaway from this album is probably just that I love the variety here. I think for the most part, everything sounds about the same style-wise, though a lot of it is still pretty distinct too, actually. Songs like Videodrome and also Fertile are not really similar, but they are my favorites, and I think that's probably because they sound like one another, but also don't. I think maybe the best way I can describe this is they're by the same band, but they're not the same genre, really. I think in general, this album just juggles upbeat pop rock and also low-key indie rock, shoegaze just very well, and I really think the mixed nature of this album is probably my favorite aspect of it as a whole. I just find that there are various songs for various moods, and I think that works out very well. I really feel like the band could probably continue down any of these avenues, sound, style, genre-wise, and they would probably make it work, honestly. I also really think that not one sound ever really overstays its welcome. One thing that does stay with me though is just how catchy some of these songs are. For example, there is one song on here called Toys, and it is sort of this B-52s-esque indie rock song. I feel like it shares a lot with Rock Lobster and also songs by the band Ween, because it's just a weirdo sort of fun rock song that is just crazy catchy. And there is this amazing bass line throughout the entire song that I think really carries it. But then on top of that too, the guitarist is just kind of writing that bass line too, and it just all comes out so well in the end. I really like that one, even if it is weird and kind of makes me feel a little antsy too, I guess. Okay, and now for my dislikes. There's not a lot, but there are some very notable ones that I just can't stop thinking about sometimes. One thing I want to mention is just how overproduced some of this album sounds sometimes, and I think that is especially the case in the first two songs. I just really find that the guitars on there sound very shimmery, almost to an obnoxious level in a way. I will say not a lot of the rest of the album is like that, though it's something very noticeable and is almost kind of hard on my ears just because of how metallic and tinny and, like I said, overproduced it sounds to me. And also, oddly enough, I kind of have beef with the last two songs on this album just a little bit too. I think those songs are fine, especially because they're the last two on the album, but I feel like the band's really had no idea how to end the album. The second to last song is okay, only because it actually has vocals and is a proper song with just a very long outro. But then the actual final song on this album, called Super Fluidity maybe, is just noise. And I don't know why that's there, since it isn't really sharing a lot with that second to last song, and it's just kind of an outro for the sake of having an outro when you don't particularly need an outro after a song that had its own long outro, so that's very strange to me. So one thing I'll say is I think I'm probably going to skip that song anytime it comes up when I'm listening to this album as a whole. I'm just not quite sure why it's there. And now my main real gripe with this album is that I sometimes can't hear the singer like at all. I will say I do feel like the instrumental mixing is pretty good for the most part, but sometimes I just cannot hear the vocals like at all. Not even just like, oh, I don't know what they're saying. I can't hear them. For example, there is a song on here called Life is a Stage. There are vocals on there. I know there are. I cannot make out a single word on that song. I have no clue what the song is about. All I know is that it's interpolating Quero Quero Bonito, and that is it. I really feel like this song might as well just be an instrumental song because I just cannot hear the words or the voice even. And I feel like this is a problem that I find at least in small portions throughout every single song on this album, which is really too bad because it seems like they're all pretty proficient in English. So in theory, you would be able to enjoy the lyrics if you don't know Japanese, but I know English and I just don't know what's being said here. However, despite all of those points of contention, I still like this album a whole lot. I have been bumping it a whole lot since it came out back in April, and I am really hoping to hear some more music from them soon. With that said, I am going to give this album an 8 out of 10. I would have given it a 9, except I had those small nitpicks. I would have given it a 10, but then I had that vocal mixing issue. So if some of that got fixed up a little bit, I could have for sure seen this being a 10 out of 10 album, but it's just got too many things that I'm just like, oh, I don't like that, I don't like that, I don't like that. So there you go, sorry. I guess finally what I will say though is that this is a very refreshing sound for Japanese indie rock music, especially in the year of our Lord 2025. And I think this is a fantastic first LP. I would say that this is a fantastic showing of some of their musical strengths, and it, you know, admittedly show off some of their musical weaknesses as well. But I think over time they could totally iron those out and maybe get someone else on mixing duties so that I can hear what you wrote. Because hey, sue me if you want. I want to hear the lyrics you wrote. Sorry, hot take maybe. And yeah, that's the review. I think this is going to be a fairly short one because I am still working on my big, huge Mondo video essay type of video. So I just wanted to get this out because it felt weird not releasing something for about a week. So thank you for watching, and I hope to have maybe another video to tide you over out soon, and then have that final video out at some point, 2-ish weeks maybe. It's gonna be a long one. Anyway, thank you again for watching, and I will see you when I see you. Thank you. Bye.